basically how you like see me and interact with me.
Okay, is that a robe across your entire body? Or any of your tattoos showing at all, or is it?
No, none at all. Like basically, the only like the thing that's really telling about like um is the like the way the robes are designed, and I
Mhm.
think they should like tell you something about like the Sorcerer King uh that I'm tied to, like that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And like the very what sets what is very what immediately cross or draws your eye are my eyes, like they're
Mhm.
shimmering with power, with influence, with danger, like that kind of it's kind of like this dark red glow that sometimes changes color, but it's mainly dark red
Okay. Cool.
that
Spooky.
comes off it. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Do you want to choose your relationships to the other characters then? Um, so you got the characters that we're playing with tonight are Hayes, um, and Kanaloa, and I am terrible and I've already forgotten
Ether.
Ether. Thank you, and Ether. So you
hmm.
get to pick two relationships.
Okay.
So the
So you
ones that you
have
can
the
choose are someone thinks me wise and sagely, someone has seen me do great and terrible things for my power, and someone may want to be like me more than you think. I think the latter two have more meat on them, but it's up to you.
yeah. I was looking at those two. Um, can you tell me a bit more about Kanaloa?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How I
let's
pronounce
take
it?
the floor.
Yeah. So Kanaloa is um so he's part of a class that's very close to the aristocracy, basically, right? Like I do the tattoos on people's faces when they're like
Mm-hmm.
old enough, and which then says, "Oh yeah, you belong to this lord." So like that in itself is a big social powerful position, but in exchange for that, like we um we caucus, that's like the second part of the name, so our class of tattoo artists aren't allowed to actually own property. Like we often get rich, I guess, right, from maneuvering in society and stuff, but we're not really allowed to uh, own property. That's also why, like, I have a patron, and Haku Eha is my lord and patron. And I'm not sure if that's the governor of the, or if that's the the sorcerer king here, or queen.
I think that would probably be the governor. Should we go for the governor?
Yep. So
So it's
the
sort
one
of like
who,
some, because I think the sorcerer kings are almost like kind of like a demigod level.
yeah,
So like the normal people don't even interact with them to the point where they might not even exist. But let's just yeah. But the governor that you deal with is Haku Eha, and his son is Haku Olash, who is jealous of the relationship that you have with his father.
Okay.
so if you can use magic, you might also be like part of like the aristocracy. Like that's also a
So
question.
where does the aristocracy lie? Is that governors? Do they have like what is like the like the divide between the aristocracy and like the rest or others?
It's kind of like it's a ruling noble class, and then serfs thereafter. Basically, pretty much. It's pretty basic.
And
Yeah,
any one of us that is currently part of the aristocracy or none?
No.
No, I'm.
Although you could easily be.
Yeah, and you could easily be maybe. Yeah.
So I was actually thinking that maybe let me get the name correct. Kanaloa would have let me get my character. Would have seen me do great and terrible things with my power. No, actually, no. It's want to be like me, maybe even more than you realize.
Okay.
That's what I was going for. So I was thinking that, like, since the Sorcerer Kings, like, some people question if they do exist, and I imagine my presence is one of those things that maybe you really should believe that they exist. Like,
sure.
Like that is like one of the ways that they show their, or like people tell that, okay, yeah, that's the Sorcerer Kings working through through proxy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I don't know if we're going to have Sophie because I cannot get a hold of her. I know it's very early where she is, so I don't know if she's just slept through. It's like 10 to 7 in the morning there or something ridiculous. Let's take a 5-minute break and see if she turns up, and then we'll start playing after that.
Yeah.
And if you want to finish off your character.
Yeah, I'll go and I'll work off my character.
Cool.
No. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Hmm. Okay.
How's it going there, Joanne? You almost done?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I need to pick my magical object yet.
Okay. Do you have like a kind of a focus of power?
So there's the magical object and like arcane
See
malice.
your magical object on the other side.
Yeah.
Magical object. Okay, so you pick two from the list to describe it.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, it's definitely masks reality.
Okay, nice.
Hmm.
I've just seen that one of the potential moves for you is called Power Horrible Power. That's great. That's a great move.
Yeah, I took that.
Oh, good.
I haven't decided on like the specific power over something, but
Okay.
yeah, it's a magical object. Magical object. I'm thinking masks reality, and it makes promises binding.
Okay, cool. Right, so if everyone's ready to go, I don't think we're going to have Sophie tonight. I'm not sure where she is. So if Bethany and Jerome, if you want to highlight one of Matthias's stats each for what you want to see him roll in this session, and Jerome and Matthias, if you want to highlight Bethany's, and does that leave left? So we don't have anyone highlighting Matthias. So that's yes. Okay. So Jerome and Bethany do Matthias. Okay. My maths is not working in my head. There's only 3 of you. Do the other guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
It's not working out very well in my head.
I was thinking that the last relationship was that Hayes has seen me do great and terrible things.
Okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense.
That seems reasonable, yeah.
Yeah. Because we have this thing that Hayes is kind of on the run from the aristocracy, where she was previously being used as kind of like a human book, basically.
Okay. Yeah, totally.
So I think yes, she has seen you do terrible things on that basis.
Yeah.
To highlight, we just
I just put it in red.
Colored, in red.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'll leave this red sly on you, Crow. So.
Okay.
And I'll leave you to look after your own XP, because there's a bunch of stuff going on. So there's XP triggers that you'll have, but mostly you'll get it from the first time you roll any of those highlighted moves in a scene. You get XP, and also the first time that I think it's the first time you make an honor move in a scene, you get XP as well. Honor moves are in. So everyone got the honor moves up. That is. Stuff like the it's not the patron move, it's under peripheral moves, I think it is. It's when you can call on your organization, stuff like that.
Okay.
Sorry. That works. And I think that one.
And Matthias and Jerome, I believe, have patrons, don't you?
I don't. I think
you don't. Okay.
I have entanglements.
Entanglements, I will give you. That's the other way that you can get XP. So.
Did I miss something? Oh yeah, I need to pick one more thing from the list. Yeah, I'll take from my horrible object is that it'll attract the attention of something horrible.
Okay, nice.
So snowballing, so that'll result in something terrible.
Okay, your entanglement, Jerome, is threaten or coerce someone powerful with your magic. If you do that, you get XP.
That's the once a session.
That's once per session, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also have the hex is going to be I'm going to say take out someone who's become inconvenient to you using your magic. So Bethany, that's yours. And the liar is going to be... I'm going to go with charm someone powerful and to gain useful information, which was your one last week, Matthias, but we didn't really get a chance to see you do that. So we'll go with that one again.
And I still have to fill in honor.
Honor, you get 1.
Okay.
And I'm assuming your faction is going to be other sorcerer priests, other sort of like adept priests.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Okay, cool. Right, let's go. So it all got kind of bent out of shape quite quickly last session, in a good way. So as we left it, Matthias was, not Matthias, sorry, Canaleo was drifting into the toxic ocean in the arms of his ex-lover.
Yep.
And was passing out, and Hayes had just been bundled into a boat and was being kidnapped, basically, by forces unknown. And one of the things, Jerome, that we established in the world building was that even though this is an archipelago of islands, because the waters around it are so toxic, people don't travel by boats. They travel on these bridges that are in between the islands, and the quality of the bridge reflects the quality of the island and sort of like the status of the island. So if someone does travel by boat, it means that they're up to no good.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the people that Hayes has just been kidnapped by.
Okay.
Hayes, you are currently in the back of a little barge, and it is being because there's just very little wind, so it's being dragged by 2 turtles, which are dragging it forward. There are 3 other people on this boat. One of the people that attacked you turned into a wolf who was then murdered. And you currently have a bag over your head, and you can hear them. You can hear them talking. What are you doing?
So I'm mostly paying attention to these people, trying to understand. So I want 2 things. Are as a goal here. I want to know where I'm going, and I want to get a hold of like a hair or something from one of them.
Okay. So for figuring out what's going on, I guess you are studying a situation.
Yep.
So if you're just kind of like listening, are you pretending to be asleep? Are you just kind of sitting there sullenly? Are you interacting with them? What are you doing at the back of this boat?
I think at first I'm sitting there very quietly and not struggling at all. And then once we get underway a bit, whichever of them sort of comes closest first, I just say, excuse me, can you tell me where we're going?
Okay.
Just and casually, like I'm not, tied up and have a bag over my head.
Yeah. And he does laugh, and you can you feel warm breath even through the hood, which you get to mean that he's kind of bent down closer to you.
Okay.
You're very calm. Aren't you worried about where we're taking you? What we're going to do? I mean, this is not a. Is this the sort of situation that you find yourself in just day in, day out?
Oh, what good would worrying do?
Okay. I think if you're going with this guy, I think you're going to go study a person, or you can try and study the situation as a whole. So what are you aiming for?
I'll study a person.
You study a person. Okay, cool. So if you want to roll plus sly.
Let's see. Do we have a specific dice rolling?
No, just use whatever. Because it's
I've
not
actually got some dice here.
Real dice are good. I trust you.
Right.
Yeah, I like the idea of specific dice rolling pages, but then that's just another tab to get lost somewhere.
Right, yeah. So, well, I just rolled a 5. Tell me that I have a...
You got a 2 in sly?
I do not. I have a 1 in sly.
You got a 1 in sly, so that's a
Yep,
6.
yep.
Okay. Okay, he let me just find my MC moves. You can hear him laugh again and saying, "You're not going to talk this out of me."
Right.
And what's he going to do? He binds your hands tighter, and actually he just kicks you back into the boat. So like previously you were sitting up, but he then just kicks you back into the boat and leaves you all together, and they sort of ride on in silence. And this is on the little island you've got, even though it's kind of like at the scrap end of this civilization, you're used to being treated with a certain amount of respect, and you're not getting this at all here.
Yeah. They're not intimidated by me at all.
They're not for the minute, no. And we will jump to Matthias. Kanaloa wakes up, and he wakes up drenched in this kind of this black stuff all over him, and he is it. Kanaloa is a he, isn't he? Before I just misgendering characters. Okay, cool. Right. So you wake up and kind of gasping for air on a beach. What do you do? That's a very short opening image, but that's where you are. It's still night.
Sputtering up more of that black stuff out of.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Spitting that out and like coughing it up and like trying to get my bearings. Rolling over in the sand, I assume, or.
Yes, because this stuff is burning into you, and in fact, I'm going to ask you to make a face duress roll because you are currently the water is toxic, as we discussed earlier, and you can feel it burning into you, and you can actually feel it kind of like sapping your life almost. So if you roll,
as soon as like the pain reaches my consciousness, I definitely start like rolling in the sand to basically cake myself with sand and then brush it off.
And I think that's what wakes you actually.
Yeah. That's plus steady, right? Oh yeah. So starting off right. I've got a 4.
You got a 4. Okay. You're rolling about in the sand, but you can just feel this. And you can actually hear this sizzling and this burning as the water kind of seeps into your skin, and you look down at your hands where you had. We said you didn't actually have any tattoos, did we? Apart from there's one very subtle one, isn't there? Where was your one very subtle one?
It's not subtle. It's like marking me being part of this case, right? So I've got like a line, like a black line down the middle of the forehead. Okay,
and you can feel that it all seems to be drawing up towards that, kind of like you know how like venom moves. It all seems to be sort of like, and it's going into the line, and you hear this, and there is this just immense pain, and you know that it's burning off your tattoo. What do you do?
Panicking and screaming in pain.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to recover from that was probably going to take several minutes of me lying there panting and trying to get my senses about me again.
Okay, sure. Where do we find Crow this evening, Jerome?
That's a good question. I think I would be like observing one of the islands, see if there's somewhere I need to be.
Okay. So how would you mean observing it?
Observing as in she is, or I am on like imagine there's probably some higher building on one of the islands where she's sitting on the edge of a roof and like observing the island. Where am I needed to correct the course or
Sure.
learn more about what's wrong or needs the sorcerer's attention.
Okay, so you're in one of the more well-to-do areas, so you've got kind of like because you don't have a lot of ground to work with, you've got sort of kind of towers going up, as you said. There's a lot of sort of like spiraling architecture, and you can see coming up from one of the rooms of one of the nobility of the Haku house. You can see this purple smoke billowing out of his chimney. Now you know, because messages are very difficult to send because there's no writing in this world, that one of the things they do is different colored smoke to kind of send signals. It's a bit like the kind of the different flowers to mean different things in historical France. I forget which bit of history. And you know that is a signal for the priesthood to come and assist.
Okay.
What do you do?
So I'm thinking that the power, or the thing I have power over, is going to be air. So I think I'm gonna like glide on over using my power to where I'm needed. Like make a grand entrance, that kind of idea.
Okay, cool. Is this something that is very out in the open for you? Is this something you try and conceal? How does it look?
No, it's very out in the open. I imagine like I'm here to be shown.
Okay.
I'm here to be not known, to be feared, to be respected. That kind of.
Okay, cool.
Kind of idea.
So you swoop across. You kind of just dive
across. Do you need to roll for that?
No, because it's just it's not going to affect anyone else. And it would be kind of lame if you just kind of went and off the tower and now dead.
That would be.
Okay, so you kind of pirouette forward off the tower. And then there's this updraft of warm air because it's kind of like a tropical area that we're working with. So there's this updraft of warm air that just carries you, and your robes billow out and swoop you down through the window.
Well, what's like at that time of day? And is it?
It is
dawn?
No, it's it's getting towards dawn now. Actually, it's because we started quite late at night. So it's kind of like it's going to be getting towards sunrise now, so you can kind of be caught by the sunrise if you want.
Okay. Yeah. Then like there's a lot of like ceremonial art, like not artifacts, but amulets and that kind of stuff that are glinting off in the sun.
Okay, cool.
Beginning sun.
And people that are out for their early morning prayers and taking their children to the temple and stuff like that, they see you and they kind of point and they kind of look down at the same, or like the children point and then their parents pull their arms down, because you're not meant to look up there. And you land in the room of Haku Alash, who is the son of Haku Eha, and one of the local lords. And we will cut then to Bethany. So Bethany, what are you doing? So you're still in the back of the boat. Have you tried to do anything else since, or are you just kind of going with it, or what's happening there? You've made her kind of furious by this guy not paying you any respect at all. Right.
Yeah. See, my hands are bound and I can't actually see them. Oh, yeah, I do have this lizard.
You do? You do have a lizard?
Yeah, so I'm I'm gonna get the lizard to like, get out of my pocket or wherever it was concealed on me, and enough to look around, so at least I can see where these people are and who they are. See if I recognize any of them.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, you recognize them as soldiers of Haku Eha, who was the one of the governors that you're previously the property of.
Right.
So it looks like he's come to reclaim you.
Okay.
Although he didn't seem particularly interested in that for... how long has it been since you escaped, or how long has it been since Ethar set you free?
It's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
I was just getting complacent.
Right, okay. And you arrive at an island. And it's not the main... It's not exactly where you were expecting to be. You were expecting, when you saw that that it was people of Haku Iha, you were expecting to be taken straight to his palace, but that's not what's happened. You're docking on another smallish island, not too dissimilar to yours, and it looks ill-fated. Basically, it looks unpleasant. It looks like one of those quiet little islands where they would take someone to kill them.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it looks like. But at the same time, if they wanted to kill you, why didn't they just kind of pop you into the ocean?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they leading me somewhere specific on this island, or?
So they're getting off. They haven't untied you or anything yet.
Right. Okay.
And you can hit off a little way off. It looks they're not expecting you to do anything because you're tied up in the back of a boat. It looks like they are waiting for someone.
Okay. I don't have. Okay, as I'm like getting from the boat to land, I assume that we walked through some of the water.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say if not, I deliberately do step in the water.
Okay.
So I've got this water like on my foot and leg now, and then this is the water I use for magic.
Sure.
And let's see. I kind of established last time that I have to like get the water on them.
Yes.
But okay, so yeah, my little familiar crawls down onto my foot, kind of rolls in the water a little bit, and then I send it over to the nearest of the men.
Okay.
To like crawl up his pants leg or something.
Okay, cool. Roll me a face duress to see if you can do that without them noticing first of all, and then we'll roll for the magic roll.
Okay. 8. Let's see. Tell me I don't have a -2. That's steady?
Yes, it is steady, yeah.
Cool. 9.
That's a 9. Okay. You can do that, but they're not completely stupid. They're not looking away from you.
Right.
So they are going to see you start chanting, and you reckon that once you can get one of them, the other two are going to be on you fairly quickly thereafter. Are you happy to go ahead with that plan?
Yeah, I don't have any better ideas. Cool. So what are my possibilities here? You might change the world in a minor but tangible way.
But you do have your own hex move, which has stuff like turning people into rats and shit.
Yeah. I've got 2 now because I leveled up.
Cool.
Last one, but one of them isn't going to help at all right at this moment. So yeah, closest one. Gonna turn him into something small and harmless. Or try to.
Yeah, last time you turned them into a wolf.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well, but yeah, this
Okay.
one's gonna be a fish.
Okay, nice. Let's go for it. See how it happens. Okay. Cool.
Okay. 9.
That's 9. Okay. He starts gasping immediately, and the other two, or one of them notices what's happening with him. The other one sees you kind of doing. Is it like a chanting that you have to do? Is there some sort of like somatic element? How's it work?
I think last time I said, it was like sort of drawing the water on them.
Okay, cool.
I don't think I did any chanting.
So what he sees then is he sees you guiding your lizard, because you have to sort of like control your lizard where it's going. So you're kind of waving your arms through the air to get out, having apparently got one of your arms free.
Well, no, actually like this.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. And so he sees that and he starts storming towards you. Witch, stop, witch! But at the same time, his compatriot is sort of gasping, and these lines, 3 lines, just open up on both sides of his neck, and start kind of flapping about here and there, and his nostrils kind of close over, and he's turning into a fish, but it's taking him a little while to turn into a fish, and he's starting to suffocate in the air, even as he's kind of like still a half human, half fish, grotesque, absolutely vile thing that's kind of collapsing to the ground. And this guy's coming towards you and means to murder you, at which point we will cut to Kanaloa. So Kanaloa, what are you doing? You're on the beach. You have had your tattoo burnt off. Where are you now? What's your plan? Where are you heading?
First, to know where I'm heading, I need to find out where I actually am. Am I still on this island or wherever, right? So I'm like...
You're going to assume you're probably on the same island. You wouldn't have drifted that far.
Yeah.
You probably would have drowned before you drifted there, unless, some sort of mystical energies in the water just happened to put you in the right place at the right time. Who can say?
Exactly. So I'm running along the beach to get some kind of idea. I'm trying not to encounter anyone directly, right? So I'm actually trying to take cover as much as I can. I don't know if there's many bushes or like what the vegetation is like using that, or if it's rocky, then I'm like
it's rocky
from rock. Yeah, and definitely trying to look up and see where like if I'm still on the same island, then there's this big mansion structure on top of the cliffs, right? So I'm trying to discern that.
That is no longer here, and you actually start to think that you might no longer be on the same island, which does strike you as weird, because there's no way that you should be able to survive enough time to drift to another island. That's just it's not even possible. At which point you
find a way.
At which point you hear someone shout, "Stop! Witch! Witch!" from further down the beach. What do you do?
I'm gonna skulk closer to that.
Skulk closer to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Make me a face duress roll.
That's a 7.
That's a 7. Okay, cool. You make your way further down the beach, and there is Bethany, is Hayes a... We didn't decide. She's not a... we don't know their gender, do we?
Yeah, no, it's ambiguous.
Okay, cool. So there was a person in a kind of a veil, who is a veil and kind of tattered robes, who is tied up in the back of a boat. Do you recognize them? You probably wouldn't, even though you know each other. But
yeah, it might be too dark as well.
Yeah, and also with the veil and everything, they're sort of purposefully. Yeah. But it does look like some other dude is about to try and murder them. Whilst another guy is gasping and kind of grabbing at his neck. That's what's happening there. What do you do?
I'm trying to get a read on that situation.
Okay. Cool. Okay, make me a study the situation roll.
Eight. So 8. It's asked 2 questions. I think, yeah, the most important information here is who's my enemy really? The situation. Yeah, and how is one of my adversaries vulnerable to me right now? Like, I think those two combined. Like, I'm powerful in adrenaline too, so.
Okay, who is your enemy really? You reckon these guys as wearing the same uniforms as the guys that jumped you, and what was the other guy called? Or Tage's character? I forget that.
Yeah.
So the same people that attacked you earlier are the same people that are attacking this person over here. And how are they vulnerable to you? They are currently way more focused on the person that they're calling the witch in front of them. They are on you. Now you have the chance to either just get out of dodge, to ignore this completely, or to help, but that's up to you. At which point we will cut to Crow. So, Crow, what does the inside of Haku Olash's chamber look like?
That's a good question. He's the son of a governor, right?
Yeah. And when I say son, he's an adult son. He's kind of like 19, 20.
Yeah. Okay. So I imagine, like, with adornments of wood all around the place to basically acknowledge, like, from where he came from, his father.
Okay.
His father probably made most of that possible. So like a lot of markings of his father's office, and I think there's some part of it that he's changed without his father's approval, because I imagine that you mentioned that he wants to have his father's approval, or is he jealous of the relationship between, right?
Yes, yeah, between you and his father. He's jealous of the relationship between Kanaloa and his father.
Yeah. So I imagine that there's this one section that's been closed off by tapestries of something that I imagine he might be ashamed of showing to people that visit him.
Okay, what would he be ashamed of? What would be under there?
That's a good question. I imagine that there'd be what would be ashamed of?
I think maybe he's plotting against his father.
Yeah. I think that might be
okay, cool.
Definitely something.
So he swoops out of from behind this tapestry, and there's like a secret room that you can kind of briefly glimpse from behind there, and kind of he does some stuff with some of the. You said it was covered in kind of like wooden adornments. So he kind of like grabs at a tree and pulls it down, and like a sliding door kind of comes across, and closes up behind the tapestry, and he looks at you. He's kind of like this. He's decent looking, but there's something just kind of like a little bit Weasley about him. There's just something like a little bit kind of like snivelly about him. Quo, thank you for making your way here this evening. I am in need of your services. They say you can do things. They say that you can obscure things. They say that you can make things hidden.
Well, why don't you tell me what you need? And
There's a person. How do I put this politely? There's a book, and they have a tattoo upon them. It's, I've been informed, a true tattoo, one that can't be burnt off with the bile of the river. It can't be seen.
okay.
It talks in blasphemy, and it talks in sedition. It talks in things that must not be seen. Do you understand?
I think at that moment I want to study him.
Yep, sure, go for it.
Which is
It's going to be sly.
It's a 9.
Okay, so I think that's 2 questions, isn't it?
Let me check. Indeed. What are you leaving out?
He's leaving out exactly what is said on the tattoo. He's saying it's sedition. He's saying that it's blasphemy, but he's not saying what it is or why it's got him so rattled.
Okay. Let's see. I'll hold the other question for a bit.
Okay, cool. So how do you respond, having figured that out?
So you want this tattoo to be what?
I want it to be vanished. The person who bears it could be murdered for all I care, but the tattoo it's a true tattoo. It will survive her, it, whatever it is. Him, I don't know. It's a book. And I want it gone. I want it vanished in some way. I want them wiped clean as if they'd never been touched by Kanaloa's ink. And he kind of steps back a little bit, realizes that he said the name Kanaloa, or whatever tattoo artist it was.
At that moment, he steps back. Crow steps forward. Okay, tell me what you're really afraid of.
Is that one of the actual questions, or are you just asking that out loud?
No, it's just in character.
Okay, cool. I have it on good authority that the tattoo on this person's back tells the true story of the Sorcerer Kings. If it got out, all this, my position, your position, my father's, the bamboo stalks which hold the world would collapse. No one would benefit from this.
What does he really want is one of the questions.
What he really wants is he wants this to... He doesn't just want... You know a little about true tattoos. And the thing that he was saying about that the person could be murdered and the tattoo would remain, that's false. The person could be murdered, and if their body was burnt, then that's the end of it. That's the end of that tattoo. So in wanting you to hide it, he is wanting to keep this person and keep them back as a bargaining chip for some other means. What do you do?
Just to repeat, what he wants is he wants the tattoo gone, this book gone from existence, and doesn't want the person on it. Like, he doesn't really care. That's what he's telling me, right? He doesn't really.
That's what he's telling you, but what he really wants is he wants to be able to keep the person and have the tattoo hidden. That's why he's asking you to hide it rather than things.
Okay. So,
sorry. Yeah, carry on.
Okay. I know you're asking me to do one thing, but what I can do for you is to do what you really want. I
And
can
what would that
hide
be?
it for you. I can hide it for you and make sure that this person, whoever you're talking about, remains where he or she is without taking a life.
That would be optimal.
Okay.
What do you want?
What do I want? What do I need? Is more what I want. I need. So let me think about that for a moment.
Okay, let's cut back to the other two whilst you're thinking about that.
Yep.
Okay, so Hayes, you have one of the soldiers advancing upon you and just about to murder you, and Kanaloa, you can see that happening. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm looking if Hayes, or for me, the veiled person, is ready to fight.
Mhm.
And I'm already grabbing like for a big sharp-edged stone, and I'll definitely want to help with that if they're going for that.
Okay, cool. Hayes, are you looking ready to fight?
Yeah, I may have misunderstood something that a minute ago, though. Am I still in the boat?
Yes, you're still in the boat, yeah.
Okay. And is this guy about to murder me?
No, sorry. Yeah, no, that was me. That's me doing bad retcon. No, you were all sort of like marched out of the boat slightly, weren't you?
Yeah, I was imagining you're standing on the dock, and
yes.
you've got one behind you and one in front, and the nearest one in front is turned into...
They'd all wandered off a little bit, so they're sort of like they'd left you on the edge of the dock, basically, like well on the edge with nowhere to go. And there were the three guys, one of whom is now gasping and turning into a fish.
Yeah.
Which, as it turns out, it's kind of like just opened up three gills, which is kind of gory and gruesome. And he's changing slowly and he's kind of flapping about all over the place.
Okay.
One of the guys is tending to him, and one of the guys is advancing on you with a knife.
Okay. The guy with the knife, is he like charging toward me quickly, or is he slow, moving slower?
No, he's walking swiftly towards you. He doesn't have to charge because it's not that far distance.
Right.
It's probably a distance no more about 10 feet.
Okay.
But he is advancing on you, and it does look like he means to murder you, which is probably against his orders, because otherwise they wouldn't have got you this far.
Right.
But at the same time, you just turned his body into a fish.
Okay. So I'm going to.
And you can see me skulking closer in the dark behind them, right?
Yeah, I'd reckon
I don't know if I'm seeing or not, but yeah, okay. So I'm going to kind of move my foot, the one that's covered with water, to the board in front of me on the dock. And I'm going to harness the unspeakable power to make that board break when he steps
Cool, go
on.
for it.
Okay. Come on. 8. My plus 2. 10.
10. Okay, so what do you get on 10? What does it just happen?
I think it just happens. Let me check. Yeah, it just happens.
Okay, cool. So you swipe your foot across the bit of the board that he's just about to get to, and it starts eating through the wood, even faster than it would normally, because this stuff is sort of corrosive, but you just kind of like you amp it up by summoning the inherent kind of demon power that's within it. And as he's running towards you, it just collapses, and he plunges down into the water below, and starts screaming because, of course, this stuff is deeply unpleasant. However, the bit of the board that you're on is now detached from the rest of the ocean and is starting to collapse into the sea. What do you do?
I run back into the boat.
You run back into the boat. Okay, nice. Okay, cool. Kanaloa, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was expecting a fight, so I'm coming up behind the other one and smashing that stone against the side of his head.
Okay, cool. That is going to be engaging combat. If you want to roll that, that is plus fierce.
Yes, I have a -2 in that.
Okay, that's
but
go well for you.
I
Never
am
know.
acting on an answer, right? So I'm getting
Yes, you
+1.
are. So that's +1. Yes. Well remembered. I never remember those.
Yes, but it's still a 6 with that
It's
minus.
still a 6. Okay, cool. Let's take a couple of minutes break there whilst I figure out what horrible thing is going to happen, and we will come back to that in just a sec.
Okay.
Okay, so Jerome, did you decide what it was you wanted?
Yes, I did have a question.
Mhm.
Like how was like the governorship? What makes you a governor?
The like divine right that's granted to you by the Sorcerer Kings. So
Okay.
it's a hereditary thing.
Hereditary, so it's inherited.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And does he have? So if he dies, like the son becomes the next governor.
Well, he is not the eldest son.
Okay.
Well, he's not the eldest child, so his sister would become the governor after him.
Okay.
I will just type his sister's name. his sister is Haku Selesh.
Okay.
Do you want to wait a little bit more? We can go back to the fight on the island.
Well, I had an idea.
Okay.
It might be a bit too much, but
tell me what it is. That we'll see.
Like basically, what I had in mind was that I would ask to remove his father from being a governor, since he's angered the Sorcerer King.
Oh, okay. Shit. That is going to be a persuade with leverage, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
that's pretty significant.
That's big. It's a big one.
So talk me through this a little more, because that is a big one.
Yeah. So
but
I
you're
had
only in it for one session, so let's make a big splash.
Yeah. So I had the basically what's we can play this out, by the way, if you prefer that. Yeah.
We're just yeah, okay. So what do you want?
Well, there is your father. He's he has angered the Sorcerer King and is no longer fit for his duties. And must be replaced.
What has he done? What's happened? I haven't heard anything about this. We've had no emissaries from the Sorcerer King. What's
I've come directly with the message from the Sorcerer King. That's why I came to you, and no one else.
You came because I summoned you. He says, and he looks deeply affronted that things are different.
You can, like her eyes like sparkle. Indeed, you did.
Are you saying I summoned you because you wanted me to?
I summoned you because the Sorcerer King wanted you to. Everything happens because he wants it to happen.
Haku Ulash looks suddenly terrified, and you see him glance back towards the room that he has full of his plottings and schemings. So you want to replace my father? What, with my sister?
That is up to you. He needs to be replaced. Who it is up to you. That is the price.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. It's Wiley, right?
That's going to be Wiley, yeah.
Okay. That is a 4.
It's a 4.
Yes.
Okay. I am gonna cut back to the fight now.
Yes.
I'll decide what happened. Okay. Kanaloa, you're coming up on this guy who is tending to his friend, and you swipe down at him with this rock, and you're expecting it to just kind of like bash up into the head, but it drops out of your hand. And the reason it drops out of your hand is you realize his dagger is fairly deep in your gut, and you're going to have to take 2 harm for that.
Good.
And okay, so make me a take harm roll, which is when you suffer harm, roll plus the harm suffered after armor, which you're not wearing. So roll plus harm suffered, so roll plus 2.
I mean, yeah, of course. Now I'm rolling a 10.
Now you're rolling a 10. Okay, cool. So you get to choose one. Either you're out of action for the minute, for the time being, unconscious, downed, writhing in pain, or panicked. It's worse than it seemed. Take 1 additional harm, or choose 2 from 7 to 9. What would you like to choose?
I'm out of action, like, and in the sense of, I double over in pain, like with like his blade in my guts, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, and Hayes, you see this. You see it looks like someone just come out of nowhere, coming to your aid, and you kind of assume that it's Ether, because you can't see very well. It's still
Right.
quite early in the morning. What do you do?
Well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So, is there anything on the boat that I could, I don't know, throw or something to get his attention back toward me?
Yes, there is. There's an oar. You can throw the oar at him.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Actually, I'm gonna dip the oar in the water and then I'm gonna throw it at him.
Nice. Okay. Or you could just kind of like grab it and use it to splash the water over at him.
Oh, is he that close?
Yeah, it's not that far. It's maybe like, well, we said he was about 10 feet away. So no, your idea of throwing would work better. Okay, so go with the throw.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that is going to be I say face duress to see if it works first of all. See if you
Okay.
manage to get it.
I'm so glad you didn't say fierce.
What is your
11.
fierce? Is it
11.
Okay.
I'm good at throwing oars.
Okay, so this the oar just smacks him on the back of the head, and he reaches around to grab it, and kind of like feeling he reaches around to the back of his head as you do when you've been struck, and he kind of feeling for blood, and he looks at it and he's even more alarmed when it's not blood, but it's just this black viscous substance. And then what do you do?
Let's see. Is there anything saying I can't do this twice in the scene or anything? Oh yeah. Only once per scene. Never mind.
But it distract him.
Yeah. I can use harness the unspeakable power as often as I want, though.
Yes.
Cool. So,
or you could use persuade with leverage potentially, to talk. The leverage being, I turned your friend into a fucking fish. That might work.
Yeah, that's I like that. Yeah. Now that I've got his attention, I just yell, "Hey, your friend there is gonna die if you don't get him into the water, and he's gonna have a real hard time getting in the water if you're a fish too."
Roll me a persuade with leverage. Let's see how that goes. So that's a Wiley.
10.
That's a 10. Okay, cool. Yes. He does start rolling his friend into the water, which is just the bizarrest sight. And like the more he rolls him, the more he turns into a fish. He's kind of getting smaller and smaller as he rolls him, until eventually he's just like this big kind of like carp-sized fish and splashes into the water. Then he looks back at you and he just kind of he's backing off. He's got his knife there. He's got it kind of like ready to throw at you if he sees you like making any move at all. But he is backing off a little. So what do you do?
Yeah, I'm just going to try to, look as intimidating and creepy as humanly possible, which is quite intimidating and creepy. And I say, look, back off. Let me take the guy you just stabbed there, and I won't hurt you.
Okay, cool. He lets you, and you get to Kanaloa, and you recognize it as Kanaloa as you get closer, and you recognize this as the man who tattooed you for Haku-Eha. And so, how do you feel on recognizing him?
Oh, this guy is the source of all my trouble.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
On the other hand, I don't have necessarily something against him personally.
And I'm lying in front of you in the sand, writhing in pain. Blood coming out.
But yeah, he did attack these people and help me. So yeah, I'm gonna like drag him back to the boat.
Drag him back to the boat. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and leave the island.
Okay, cool. Where are you sailing to? because your home island has been attacked, so you're not necessarily
True.
safe to go there. You could ask Kanaloa for advice on where he thinks is safe.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Okay,
So,
cool. Where are you heading, Kanaloa? Have we lost? No, was that actually there?
No, I'm here. Oh, you're letting me decide this?
yeah.
I was just checking the harm rules of where I'm at, because I took harm last time, so I'm at 3 harm right now.
Oh god, okay, right.
Yeah. But 1 to 3 harm will get better over time.
Okay.
So I'm still.
I mean, you've been stabbed. I think you might need to get somewhere to heal. I think otherwise it's going to be. It might be dangerous for you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like
Like
it would get
mechanically.
better if I'm in a proper civilized place.
Yes.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
out in the wilderness somewhere and been stabbed in the gut. Right.
Yes.
Of course. And yeah, as I like get my bearings and I look at them, I'm like, is that you, Hayes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can just see their face through the veil.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll leave that there for a sec whilst you decide where you're going. If you guys want to decide in the chat where you're going, that kind of works. Jerome.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Crow. You realize in sort of like his shows of cowardice and everything that he's been doing since you mentioned the Sorcerer King. It now strikes you that it's actually been kind of theatrical, and you just thought he was just like a kind of a dramatic guy. But now you realize as this smirk comes over his face and the look of terror drops away altogether. And he smiles and he says, "Here's the thing. I know what the tattoo says. And what the tattoo says is that the Sorcerer Kings are dead. And have been for some while, and weren't the great saviors and demigods that we've been presented with. So when you come in here and you tell me that the Sorcerer King is displeased with my father, what I hear is just piles and piles of fish shit coming out of your mouth."
Okay.
Tell me how accurate that sounds.
At that
Crow.
moment, like since he's talking bad about the Sorcerer King, I'm gonna cut off his air.
Okay, go for it. But I think with that with that MC move, I think we have decided that the Sorcerer Kings aren't actually alive anymore.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
But you're just pissed off. Okay, cool.
Oh, basically, from Crow's perspective, anybody who knows that should not be talking about it.
Okay.
So that's, I'm going to use horrible power to do that. That seems fair. Arcane. Let's see how bad that goes. 10.
That's 10. What do you get on a 10?
Let me check. On a hit, spend your hold to bend what you master by your will. On a 7 to 9, the MC can pick the consequences.
Okay.
It's technically not doing harm, but like the way it described it fit there.
Okay, let's so it just has an effect, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So describe what happens.
Like basically like this like bubble of like all the air around his face is gone. It's like creating a vacuum.
Okay.
Which stops him from speaking and probably also breathing.
Okay, yeah, and he starts. What do you do?
I keep it up until he dies.
Oh my god! Okay, right, fine. You're murdering this guy. Cool.
Yes.
Okay. Right. I was expecting just like a Vader choke and sort of like, don't do that again. No, okay, got it. Right. He
Yes.
just down on the floor. And you hear from outside. Father, sorry, Elash, your Majesty. What do you do?
I wait there.
Okay.
Or basically, no. What I'm doing, I'm stepping or floating outside.
Okay, like out the way you came.
Yes, to where
Okay.
the sound is that coming from outside or inside?
That's coming from outside. So you kind of floated through his window, and on the outside of the door, you hear basically his bodyguards. You can hear calling from the outside.
And so basically, I'm floating to the outside, and I'm calling. The Sorcerer King has been made angry, and Haku Arash has paid for his sins.
Right. Okay. And so are you doing that just like outside of the palace now?
Yeah.
Instead of floating up in the air.
Much.
Okay.
Pretty much. That was the idea.
You're trying to draw as much attention to this as possible. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Right. I was not expecting that at all. So where are Hayes and Kanaloa heading?
We're headed to the main island.
Okay.
Yeah. I said we need to get back there, and we need to. I want to head basically to the markets, like where we usually publicly during the day perform the tattooing, and because we have facilities there, and actually want to.
Well, I think the main tattooing would happen probably in the palaces and in the sort of like the noble houses and stuff like that, because it's kind of like a performative art, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's why. Like we I think we established or said that it happens out in public.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
on like a pedestal, balcony type thing without a railing, right?
Okay, cool.
For everybody to witness. It's important that it gets socially witnessed.
Gotcha. Okay. So a little while later, you've pulled up at the dock, and you've well, there wouldn't be a dock actually, would there? Because boats aren't meant to be accepted largely. So you've pulled up at a little kind of like shingle beach.
Yeah.
And kind of crawled your way up to the top. And you try and make your way into the market. And you're on the main island, so it's kind of it's full of quite well-to-do people, and some guards come up, guards of the House of Hakurash, and just say, "You're not getting in here." What do you do?
I'm Kanaloa Kauka. I need to see my guild master.
You're telling me you're one of the markers, and you feel him. He prods you in your head. If you're a marker, where's your mark? And you remember that your tattoo has been burnt off entirely.
Yeah.
What are either of you doing? Hayes, what are you doing?
Well, I'll just the water burnt the mark off. You know how that happens.
Do you know how many times a day I hear the water burnt the mark off?
Oh,
if you're faceless, you go out and you live with the other faceless. We're people of character here. At which point, crow flies out of one of the towers up above and yells that Haku Arash has angered the Sorcerer King and has paid the price. How do you two feel about that, and what do you do? Because that's kind of big news that this guy this woman has just swung out.
Well, first of all, I recognize Crow, and I'm like, a little bit in awe for one thing.
Okay, yeah.
And then like on registering the news, I'm like, well, that would, like, I'm thinking that will make things easier going forward.
Hopefully so, because they were definitely hunting you.
Yeah, this day might still turn into something worthwhile. And then I'm like,
but at the same time, your patron son.
I want to use the distraction to just
also, it's a distraction.
Run. Yes.
Okay. And Hayes, are you following him?
Yeah, I'm not even really thinking about the news at all, except for the fact that it's a distraction for him.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to have face duress rolls from both of you.
Okay.
That's a 9.
8. 9.
It's a 9. Okay, cool. So both of you get past the guards, but you are when Crow comes out and makes this this announcement with her. Have we decided that Crow is a woman now, Jerome?
No, not specifically.
Okay, cool.
I sometimes, but
makes this pronouncement with their robes kind of flowing everywhere. This big dramatic announcement, and people kind of start panicking because you don't normally see the priests in public light, and you rarely hear from them. And when you do hear from them, what you don't want to hear is that they've just murdered a prince. So people start panicking and rushing about and just trying to like get out of the way. And the two of you are separated. Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Up at you're billowing away up at the top of this tower. And if you don't get your power from the Sorcerer Kings, where do you get your power from? Just in terms of where other people get their power from, it's come mostly from the toxic rivers.
Okay.
But yours doesn't have to come from there necessarily. It could be something else. We also talked about these things, which is the hearts of the original like Titan giants, which the Sorcerer Kings were meant to have taken. So I don't know if you want to interpret that in some way.
I think like the adepts, or at least like my faction, like the adepts have kept in storage one of those hearts, and that's where they draw their power from.
Okay, cool. So that's where you actually get your power from, and you kind of guard the secret. The Sorcerer Kings aren't actually there, and
exactly.
You actually get your power from this giant crystal.
Yeah.
Okay. There's this thing sometimes where you can just kind of hear something, and it's not like actual sound, but it is the memory of having heard something, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So no one else would be able to hear it, and you're not even sure that it was there, but you just remember having heard it. And you can hear, down there is the blasphemer. And you see Hayes running through these market crowds.
Okay.
What do you do?
Basically, I soar down there, and
so you're just gonna like swoop down.
Yes. Basically, the idea I had was, I want to like swoop down there, like and carry her with me to some place outside of the crowd.
Okay.
This is a conversation that shouldn't be had in front of these commoners.
Okay, so you're swooping down. Hayes, you're rushing through the crowd, just trying to kind of get away at this point.
Mhm.
There's lots of people bashing about and kind of panicking, and that only gets worse as they see the priest swooping down towards them. This is basically like them seeing a nuke coming towards them.
Mhm.
What do you do as you see that coming?
Yeah, I try to lose myself in the crowd. And are there buildings, or are these more like open?
It's like no, they're like, sort of like open tents and stuff.
Okay.
But it's like
Yeah,
it's a bazaar. So there's some things which is kind of stalls, and there's some things which are tents that you could potentially hide in, that sort of thing.
yeah, I'm gonna find a tent that I could actually hide in, and yeah, kind of like um I'm gonna run into it, and then I'm gonna like crawl under the wall of it out and hide in a different tent.
Oh, nice. That's good. Okay. Make me a face duress. I'm hoping someone had steady highlighted, because we've basically just been rolling face
I
duress.
have steady highlighted, and I'm
Nice.
already up to 5 out of 5.
Yes.
10.
You're a 10. Okay, cool. Okay, so Crow, you're swooping down, and then you just lose them, in the crowd. You have no idea where they've gone. All of a sudden, you see them go into one tent, and you're like, ha ha ha, and you kind of like use your wind powers to kind of blow the flaps of the tent apart, and then they're just not there at all. And there's just this crowd everywhere, and you have no idea where they're going. Kanaloa, where are you? Matthias, you're muted.
Yep. Got it now. I think double
Yeah,
click.
you have. Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm rushing into basically whoever has morning shift and is just getting prepared, and there's stuff laid out, and I grab them, and I'm like, I need you right now.
Okay, this sounds like you're rolling an honor move.
Yeah, because I imagine like they look at me and then like, wait, what kind of low? And then they like freeze right upon seeing that I'm missing my mark, and like, yes, exactly. Yeah. Almost been killed, but this.
Yeah, so I think you are calling on your faction. So how much honor do you have at the minute?
1. I'm going to spend 1.
Okay, so you roll plus the honor spent. You get XP. Hey, so there's that.
Yeah. All right. That's a 10.
That's
nice.
a 10. Okay, yes. Cool. So you can activate one of your faction's benefits. I don't think we decided what your faction's benefits were, did we? But we can.
No, but I assume
we can say what it reasonably is.
It's getting that tattoo back. And
okay, cool. So what's this? What's your friend called? So this is you run into someone. It's someone you know. What are they called?
They're called. I think they're called Lao.
Lao. Okay, cool. Good name.
Lao.
Is Lao a man or a woman? Or
it's one of the older men who've been doing this for a long time, right? Not like one of the powerful ones. Just that's why they have morning shift.
Yeah,
they do it out of conviction.
Nice. He looks at you and he's just he's shocked. It takes him a couple of seconds to like recognize who you are, and he goes, "My God, what happened to you?" But the mark has been taken.
I've been half drowned. And I like pull away like some of the cloth that I've used and stabbed.
My God, come in. And he brings you in, and at that exact time, soldiers are streaming out of the Haku Palace, and they are heading out into the crowd, pushing people away this way and that, and you can see that they are heading towards the direction that you saw Hayes head off in. What do you do?
I need to get my mark back first.
Yeah. Fair point. Okay. So he pulls you into this tent, and he's like, "Should we see to the blood?" And you're like, "No, the mark, get that back on me."
Exactly.
So you're actually kind of bleeding out, and he takes the opportunity to take some of the blood that's coming out of you and mix it in with the ink. That's the ink from the river.
Yeah.
And so you get your mark back, but it is this kind of deep blood red mark that you have all the way down the side of your face now.
Yeah, that's good. It needs to be different. It can't be the same either.
Yeah.
It's an important thing.
And it's he didn't do your mark last time, so and he's very well respected. So it's actually you end up with a much cooler, more ornate, because even though it's just meant to be kind of like a line down your face, people do put like little bits of inscription and stuff in it, and like stories into it. So you end up with this cooler version that tells the story of how you are now kind of lower the twice born because you survived drowning and stuff like that. Okay, Crow, you are searching for Hayes, and there are a boatload of soldiers heading your way.
Okay.
What do you do?
It sounds like a good situation to study.
Yeah, go for it.
As I'm looking for blasphemy.
Blasphemy, bless for you, bless for everybody.
It's a 10.
It's a 10, so that's 3 questions, I think.
Yes, I think so. Let me check the questions.
Yeah, so it's asked for you over the course of the scene. So the current bit of the scene is your prey has disappeared, and there are soldiers heading for you, like a lot of soldiers. Like they know what you are.
Okay. Well, I mean, the obvious is, what am I missing? Or is that just confirming what I already know?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, because
the one I want to ask is, where is my enemy really?
Okay, and I assume you're asking about Hayes in that.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to put this to the floor because Bethany already made the roll to get away.
Mm-hmm.
But you've made the roll to ask, where is my enemy really? And you want to know about that. So how do we feel that should play out just in terms of mechanics? Because those two seem to clash against each other.
Maybe knowing where they will be heading, wherever that would be. Where's
I have a trick up my sleeve. So if he learns at least like generally the area where I am in or right now, that's actually fine.
Are you cool with that? Right, fine. Okay. So yeah, you see. So where are you right now? You just kind of, are you making your way in between different tents and trying to hide? How's it going, Hayes?
So. Yeah, so when I like drag/carried Kanaloa to the boat, I got his blood all over my hands.
Yes, you did.
And I have this new move called the fairest of them all, where if you have a piece of someone's physical person, you can magically imitate their appearance. You look, talk, and even smell like the other character. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So you see Hayes walking swiftly in between different tents, trying to avoid your gaze. You can be over there fairly swiftly. However, there is the pressing issue of the soldiers who are going to come and try and probably kill you.
I don't know. Oh, who or what here could be a useful opportunity to me?
Okay. You are in the middle of a market, and so and you have control over wind. So you could use some of the tents and the stalls that are around to you could whip them up distract the soldiers, tie them up, that sort of thing.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Don't really fit in this situation.
I have an idea if you're stuck on the last one.
Yeah.
You've got the how is one of my adversaries vulnerable to me right now? Haku Esha has just sent most of his soldiers out to get you, which means they're not in his palace.
Okay, yeah. That is totally a question I would want to ask.
You just murdered his son, and he just kind of went like everyone in that Gary Oldman style.
Okay.
So that's what he's doing. So you're in that kind of Fury Road position where they've sent everyone after you, which means that the home base is undefended.
Yeah.
And you've kind of made a sudden and very obvious grab of power, I think. So what are you doing?
So, basically, what Crow wants to do is like he wants to like create as much like distraction and chaos amongst like all the soldiers, and everybody's moving around, and like throwing up tents, like that kind of stuff. So like in the chaos, she can slide away to the castle. Yes, indeed, it's
okay. Roll me your harness the unspeakable power roll.
It's probably the horrible power roll.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Which is going to be a 9.
That's a 9. So what do you get on a 9 there?
So the MC has a choice of consequences, I believe.
Oh, I like when that happens.
I'm sure you do. So your control is weak.
Yeah.
Control is erratic.
Yeah.
Unexpected sickness, or control is exhausting. You take S harm.
Okay. Your control is erratic. So your blood is up so much. This has been just a hell of a morning, basically. And you summon all of the four winds to you, and you're intending to just throw a few of these tents and bizarre stalls at the soldiers, but instead you just create this massive storm and blow everything everywhere, and just it's just utter destruction. There are people dead and dying on the floor. There's just stuff smashed everywhere. And the soldiers are knocked on the ground. So, and you're kind of left at the epicenter, at the kind of the ground zero of this just massive concussion grenade that's gone off all around you. And Hayes, you're there, but you're now looking exactly like Kanaloa.
I have to roll for it though.
Oh, okay. Well, so let's see if you are looking like Kanaloa when this is revealed.
I am, because that's an 8, but you get to choose.
Okay.
The voice isn't right, the smell isn't right, the walk isn't right, or your perspective is off and you move as if you're still in your normal body.
I'm going to say the voice isn't right, so you still talk in your own voice.
Okay. There's also the question, is this Kanaloa with no marking, with the old marking, or strangely with the new marking?
I think probably with the old marking, because that's how you knew. But then it's from his possession, so it's, I don't know. You're cool, Bethany.
I think with no marking, because that's you lost the marking and then you were stabbed, right?
Yes, so that's what he looked like when you got the possession. That makes sense. Kanaloa, you have also like the tent that you were being worked on is completely destroyed. So actually, your
Yeah.
mark just at the last minute is set awry, and so you've got the normal mark going down to about here, and it's all very elaborate and beautiful and everything like that. And then you've just got this. If this isn't too harsh for
Like
you, it's just like straight across there, just like a scar, down all the way down to your neck. Does that work?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
not too destructive for your character image. No, okay,
No.
good.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
cool.
Because I think that's like and this part is like nicely finely done, and this is just a streak with the needle across the face, right?
Yeah. And I think actually it does go right in as well, because he's not expecting, so it's kind of like a scarification.
There's blood running down right now, and I think this chased also must have chased Beloa away. But I think I imagine like this, the chair or the thing that you use where this happens, you lie over backwards, almost seeing the world on its head as they work on you. And the tent gets blown away, and I've like lost blood, so I'm already nauseous. And I mean, this is a spiritual thing, right? We're going through this. I've been like whispering the same words Below was whispering, and then that happens. I continue going through that, and I really want to whisper into the unspeakable power here, like reflecting back on all that happened, and in that scene of mayhem that's going on, right?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's a 6.
6. Yay, so many 6s this evening. Okay, everything goes dark.
Yeah.
And you're sort of conscious that you're dreaming. Or not that you're dreaming. Okay, so everything goes dark, and you fall on the floor, you kind of hit your head against something, and you can hear this. You know, when you get in movies that after a gunshot goes off or an explosion goes off or something, you've got that kind of really muted sound.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got all around you. You've got it all. You can just hear screaming and crying and like shouts of fear all around you, and people rushing about you. But above all that, you can hear this rising whispering, and the whispering is saying, "If they reach our hearts, all is lost." And you can see. You get this vision of the islands, all of the islands all at once, but they're written in the style of your tattoos. So you can kind of see them as if they're on someone's skin, but it's moving. And then you know how after you've got a fresh tattoo, there's kind of like blood around it, a little bit. If it's if your blood's particularly thin that day, you've got that, and that's where the oceans are, and then that blood just starts coming through the skin more and more and more and more and more until you've basically got this like pool of blood surrounding the tattoos that are the islands, and they envelop it. Okay, I think we are gonna cut forward a little bit. It's the next day. Where is everyone?
Let's see.
Or should we take 5 minutes and you decide where you are the next day?
Yeah.
You do that?
Yes,
okay, cool. We'll take 5 minutes and you can all decide where you are the next day after this catastrophic thing has happened. Okay, so Hayes, do you want to tell me where you go first, or what you're going to be doing the next day?
Yeah, I'm kind of lurking around because I kind of ran away from this place and I'm worried about being recognized. And at some point during the night, the blood, dried and flaked off my hands, so I no longer look like Kanaloa.
Oh, okay, because I kind of had a thing. If you
I
wanted to keep
mean,
that up,
we can say it. There's still a little bit of dried blood under my
Do you
fingernails,
wanna keep
maybe.
that up? Okay.
Sure, we can do that. Let's
So
see.
where would you be lurking?
Probably around Haku Ahaz, however that's pronounced. Yeah, probably around his place.
Okay. And so Crow, you reckon that the adepts, the Hands of the Sorcerer, need a conclave. I think they're probably going to call you to a conclave, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, however that happens doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it happens.
Yes. So what have you been doing in the day since? Did you sweep into the castle?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I probably.
I think Haku Aha probably won't be there when you sweep in, but I think you could take the castle. Or take the palace, sorry. It's not a castle.
Take the palace?
If you wanted.
Well, that's interesting. Actually, what I wanted was something that he values.
Okay.
Very much.
I mean, I imagine his daughter. He has a daughter, Haku Solesh.
I was thinking that same line, yes. His daughter.
Okay, cool. And then where have you gone to hide thereafter? Or are you hiding? What's the plan?
Well, like I definitely have some kind of I think like the islands, they're pretty flat, right? With like the buildings high up.
Yeah,
or...
they're not super flat, but they're it's not like big mountainous or anything like that, but it's not like it's just entirely flat or they'd flood all the time.
Well, because it's like kind of tropical, so I imagine like there's probably an area of trees.
Yeah. The mythology of it is that you are on the bones of the dead gods.
Literal bones?
That's the mythology. Whether that is true or not is a different thing. But we've already learned that part of the mythology is not true, so probably not. You're probably just on rock.
Okay. So I imagine that there's this area where people like the people still believe in the mythology.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like literally everyone does. I'm guessing, apart from pretty much the people who are selling it, who are the priests.
Yeah. And people that know that's false.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they exist too.
Yes, but who are few and far between.
Yeah. So I imagine there's like this holy ground or area or cave where like if you go there you become close to the gods, and like that's very
okay, so it's the place that they keep the heart.
And I don't want to make it the place where they keep the heart, but it's like a holy place where people don't go that often.
Okay,
like,
so to continue the metaphor of the bodies of the dead gods, what you have is there's an island or like a selection of islands a little bit further off, and from the main island, which is where it's the holy area of the priests, and you've got these great big. You know where you have a cave, and the cave collapses over time, and you're just left with kind of like an arch.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that, but then the middle has kind of fallen out of these arches, and you've got several of these gargantuan, just kind of like jutting, curved things going out of the ground, and it's the rib cage of one of the gods is the story that goes with it. But whether it is that or whether it's just a cave that's collapsed and then the center fallen out of it through erosion and stuff like that, but that
works.
That's kind of the image is that you are. Well, that's that image. I will say where you are in that. And Kanaloa, you are going for a private audience with Haku Aha regarding his son. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe I need actually this might be a role in onto itself, right? Me getting that private audience.
Well, he's not going to be in here. He's going to have gone to ground, I think.
Okay, so he's vanished and not.
Well, that doesn't mean that you can't reach him, but he's not going to be just like in his palace.
Yeah.
So, but you could find out where he is through your network, through your social network, basically. So you could roll on your honor move again if you wished to try and find out. By basically talking to all of the, because he probably will have gone to one of the other nobles' palaces on a different island, something like that. So you could find that out through talking to the different artists.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Okay, cool. Right. So do you want to roll that first? Do you want to roll that honor move? See how that goes.
Yeah, that's a 3.
It's a 3. Okay, good. Okay, we'll go back to that in a sec. So Hayes, so you're just kind of hiding out. Do you have any? Do you have a greater plan? Is there anything in particular you're trying to do? Or are you just lying low? What you thinking?
I'm trying to get a sense of what has changed in the few years since I've been here before.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So we can say that you've been kind of like wandering through the crowds as Kanaloa and trying to pick up on what's going on. Okay. Yeah. So as you're walking through, I mean, people pick up after the devastation of the sorcerer's attack. People are like trying to get back to their lives. I mean, it's a different vibe. Thereafter, right. People are scared. They're kind of the market is closed for the rest of the day, and they're just kind of like huddled in their homes and stuff like that. But yeah, make me a I almost said discern realities. A study the situation.
What's the?
That is sly.
Sly. That's a 6.
That's a 6 as well. Okay.
Yep.
6s all round. Okay. Okay. I will come back to you as well. Crow.
Yeah.
Where did you go immediately after kidnapping Solash?
To like that place that you described.
Okay, so you went there.
Yeah, that's okay, where she is going to be held.
Okay, cool. And right. So you go there and you wait.
Yeah.
Because you know this probably isn't going to go very well for you right now. Or at least people are going to be pissed off with you. And within an hour, you see these other fluttering shapes of the other sorcerer priests starting to fly in and land. And they stand a little way off to start with. They each stand on the very tip of one of these ribs. And there's 6 of them until finally one of them, who's very tall, dark-skinned woman with dreads back in a kind of like a very complicated braid, covered absolutely head to toe in these blue and kind of faintly glowing tattoos, because there's a lot of arcane knowledge basically held there. What's her name? What should we call her?
Score Za.
Zar. Okay, but we'll put a H in it so that it seems fantasy-ish.
Yeah, that's fine.
And she waltzes up to you. Not waltzes up to you. She kind of like stalks up to you. What are you doing as she's approaching?
What
do you say?
Basically gonna.
What do you say as she approaches?
Za, we have a situation.
She pushes her hand forward, and she has mastery of stone, as you have mastery of air. And the ground beneath you kind of grabs you, wraps up around your legs, and then just hurtles you backwards. So you're kind of like, it's like a little, it's like an earthquake, but just for you, basically. And you're hurtled backwards. Oh, you noticed that, did you? She says. A situation. Tell me, Crow. Exactly, with Suresh over there, what sort of situation you think we're in right now?
I'm trying to do the best I can here with this limited information I have.
You murdered a prince in his own room. You kidnapped the advisors, the governors. What do we call them? Are they called governors?
Yeah.
You kidnapped the governor's daughter. We rule only for as long as other people think they rule. What makes you think you can just fly into someone's tower and start acting as if you're a common faceless? What are you doing?
That they know. And that knowledge cannot be spread. This is the way to silence.
Who knows?
And make them listen again. I don't know how. That's why I got the leverage we need. And I point to her.
Make me a persuade with leverage, as you literally described her as leverage.
Oh dear. That's a 5.
That's a 5.
Yes.
Zahn looks over at Suresh, looks back at you, and then just kind of does this. And a shard, not a shard, like a spear of stone just erupts from the ground straight into Suresh and impales her. That's not leverage. Leverage is knowledge. She was a liability. Now, how do they know? What information do they have? Are you going to tell her about Hex? Not Hex, sorry. Haze?
Yeah, because I'm actually quite terrified with this. There's someone that's a blasphemy running loose. She might be connected, or they might be connected to that. But it's clear that
and Zahn just says, "You talk too much," and grasps you by the head. and you can just feel the information that you're portraying just go straight into her, mainline into her. And then as she lifts her hand up, you look around and you're not where you were anymore. You are Hayes, where are you?
I'm looking for Kanaloa.
You're looking for Kanaloa. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where would you be looking for him?
That is a good question. So I think I went to the like public tattooing site.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And asked, if anyone had seen him and where they thought he was.
Okay. They think this is really weird because you still look like Kanaloa.
Yeah. Where am I?
And they're like, I didn't realize he had a twin, and this all goes on for a little while because you're talking very differently. He doesn't realize it either. I'm looking, I just recently learned I had a twin, and I'm searching for him now. Okay. And then the person that you're talking to, who is they're a junior tattooist called Poe. They're working on someone at the same time while you're talking to them, and then like in a blink of an eye, they're not them anymore. And standing in front of them in a sort of like this shimmery change, kind of like, in a dream where something is where you got one thing and then suddenly it changes, and it like there was no moment when it changed. It's just kind of like it was always that. In front of you is Zar, sorry.
Oh, great.
And the person that she was working on is now Crow. What do you do? Do you know who either of these people are? Well, you know who Crow is. You've seen
Crow is, I've seen him do terrible things with his magic. So, yes, also, I saw the whole thing. Part of it yesterday.
I think as that relationship stands, we can say that is when you saw him do terrible things with their magic.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. This is a problem, and
don't be scared.
Yeah, I mean, I look like Kanaloa, but I have no idea whether they like Kanaloa. I don't sound like him.
No, and they're looking like she is looking straight at you.
Right.
So whether you look like Kanaloa or not, that doesn't matter right now.
Yeah, okay. How close are we to the shore? To where we left the boat?
Oh, quite a way.
Okay.
Quite a way, maybe a mile.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna run.
You can run. Okay, nice. Go for it. I think that's going to be a face duress.
I think so. Yeah.
Can I try to hinder her?
Yes. Is there a roll for hinder in here? I can't remember.
Yeah, there is something. It's called help or hinder.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. Yeah, you roll for that. Both of you make that roll, but don't tell me what you've got yet, and we'll cut to Kanaloa. Okay, so Kanaloa, you talk with, so you make inquiries with various of your colleagues around the various noble houses, and you find out where the king is, not where the king is, where the governor is.
Oh, I do.
You do, even though you rolled 6. And he's still on the island. He's still on the main island at the minute. Jerome, if it allows you to roll with whatever stat you want, then yes, that's fine. So you find he's in hiding. He's gone down under the castle. There are these tunnels which they kind of use as like priest holes were back in the day. Except for they're these kind of weird, undulating, naturally occurring tunnels that people call the God's Arteries. or the God's Veins. That's what they call them because that sounds cooler. And so you are making your way down one of these, and as you do, and you trace the symbols on the rock wall to open it. It opens. You go in to where the governor is, and there is immediately a blade at your throat, and you are walked forward towards a very, very angry governor by his soldiers. He's sitting there. He is a man in his 60s. Haku Eha. He doesn't have many tattoos beyond the tattoos that he is obligated to have. He is not he's sort of a willfully ignorant, furious man.
Yeah. And I think what I say is like, Hakueha, my lord and patron, I would bow if I'd be allowed to.
I'm not in the mood for jokes. Don't try and charm me, charming as you are. Today is a dire day. My daughter is gone, I don't know where. My son murdered in my own house. And some of your colleagues tell me, when you began asking around after me, that this is because of something that you wrote on someone's back once. And why don't you tell me what could be so important that you lost me both my children? And then, Kanaloa, why don't you try and convince me not to just give the order for Jerome there to move that knife an inch back and 2 inches to the right?
I
out of character, because I kind of hard framed a lot of this plot on you.
That's
Why
cool.
did you put the tattoo which undid all of the mythology on Hayes's back? Was this a job that someone asked you to do? Was this something that came to you in a vision? Is it something you actually believe yourself?
I don't think I believe it's true.
You don't believe that the tattoo is true, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so you still believe in the Sorcerer Kings and everything like that?
Yes, and I think...
So in that case, it's an extraordinarily blasphemous and dangerous thing for you to put on the back. So why would you have done that? And can we tie it into Vesta somehow? Because you were in a relationship with them previously, weren't you? With her previously.
Yeah,
because it could be something that you wrote for her, because her cause was very much against that whole current setup.
Yes, I think that's it, right? Jester came to me with this as a last favor, right? That I think that ended our relationship.
Okay,
that was like the final straw, and and I understood that, or the way I understood it is, okay, so this is a ploy for the rebellion.
Okay.
Like, I think this is just bad propaganda.
Okay, but it so happens to be true. Okay, but what do you say to the king, to the governor? Sorry.
I say, I don't know what those rumors are, but
you wrote it.
I know
You wrote it on her back.
Yes. Rebellious words. And I confess to that. It happened under duress. And I'm prepared to throw Esther under the
Okay.
bus.
For who did you do it?
For you. I did it for Yesta is kind of known, right? Or
Yesta used to work for
her group is
Haku. And she used to work for Haku.
Oh yeah. So it's something like your former captain of the guard or something like that, or yeah. So your former captain of the guard who fell out of favor. Rightly so, I might add. She
Rightly
forced
so.
me. She forced me. So
you're going to have to roll me a very good persuade with leverage.
Yeah, I've got to try that. Let's press Wiley. Wait, didn't roll. Oh my god, that's a 6.
And the governor says, Kanaloa, thank you for your candor. We'll find Jester and we'll kill her. Yehum, kill Kanaloa. And then we'll cut to the other two.
That's fair.
What did you both roll?
10.
A 4.
Oh, yes. I thought for sure he was going to say 12.
Nope.
Okay. Right. Crow, you try and reach out with your power, and what you were going to try and do was drag her back, basically, or drag them back.
Yeah.
Sorry, with the winds. And as you reach out and try and do it, you feel just this utter lack of anything, and you feel this complete sort of disconnect from the power that you had previously. And you realize that Zar has, with her hand still on you, she is leeching all of your power into hers.
Ooh.
And what did your tattoos look like?
From Crow?
For Crow, yeah.
Yeah. So like her as part of being an adept, her whole body is like one intricate tattoo underneath all the cloaks. So it's mostly black and reds, like various intricate waving and like
Okay. And now just imagine that all of the ink on you is animated, and it's kind of unraveling and dancing its way off you and just up into her, and the patterns on her are getting even more intricate, and you realize that this is the reason that she's in charge of the priests. This is how she's done it. She's just sucked the life from other people, and you can feel all of the mystical energy and everything that made Crow special just leeching into Zar. And it is utterly devastating. And Hayes, you get away. How do you get away?
I'm used to running and hiding. I did it for a long time. So yeah, I'm mostly just sort of like weave between tents and dodge until I can find an area with some trees.
Okay.
And just get out of sight as quickly as possible.
Okay, cool. So You get out of sight as quickly as possible, and Zar she's distracted for just long enough by the effort of leeching Crow's power into her, and it gives you that couple of seconds that you need to get away. Can you take animal form or anything like that yourself?
No, I can only turn others into animals.
Okay, cool. So you're running through all the trees. You're running deeper into the forest. It's kind of like a jungly forest, kind of like a rainforest. And as you're running through, you look back and you see that there's no one following you, and you think you've got it, but you keep running just on adrenaline. But then you realize as you're looking around and checking that there are people keeping pace with you running through the trees, and there's a lot of them, and they are all wearing the same sort of cloaked look as Ether, sorry. And they're keeping track with you. So, with Kanaloa with a blade to his throat, just about to be executed, and with Crow having all her power set from her, and with Hayes running through the forest, tracked by Faceless on all sides, I think we will leave it there for the evening.
Nice.
That's a cliffhanger.
Oh, man.
That is a cliffhanger.
Yes,
Thank you very much for playing, guys. I think that started a little slow on my part, so sorry about that. But I think we got there in the end. I think at exactly the point that Crow murdered the princess. Like, thank God.
That was nice.
Thank God he's a terrible villain. I'm glad he's gone. And then that caused all sorts of destruction. So that was good. Thank you very much. Thanks very much, everyone.
All right.
It was really fun.
I'll see you. I'll see Matthias and Bethany. I will see you next week.
Yep.
Jerome, if Sophie, because Sophie couldn't join us tonight, if it turns out she can't join us next week, would you be up for playing next week?
Yeah.
We are otherwise full. But if Sophie can't make it and lets us know in advance, I'll let you know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Good stuff.
All right.
Okay. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. Cheers.
Just